Good afternoon, everybody. Robert Weichelt here for the More Now Listings Mastermind. I like to call it the More Now Listings Mastermind because at the end of the day, would you rather have a listing today, like now, or tomorrow? So let's think about that. The More Now Listings Mastermind is each week, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. You can log into morenowlistings.com at those times and really dive in and really get some good stuff. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for jumping on. I want to thank everybody for listening to this on YouTube and our podcast at Spotify. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the, kind of some good nuggets. I'm going to share some nuggets. Before I do, though, I always like to start off. I'm not trying to be braggadocious. I'm really not. But I want to drive a point home because I've done a few things in my almost 40 years in real estate. Wow. It'll be 40 years this coming February, 2026. Started off in the title business at a very young age. I was 19 and I got into the real estate game. Mother's a real estate broker, has been since the mid 70s. And started selling real estate in the REO space in the early 90s, back again in the early 2000s. I'm positioned and poised and ready for the next market that's about to come on us. I'm a broker, trainer, mentor. My mission is very simple, guys. I want to empower others to grow, win, and lead with purpose. That's my number one priority. I specialize in now business. I want to take listings today. I'd rather work with the for sale by owner that says, hey, world, I want to sell my home than somebody that says, I'm selling my home in 7 to 12 years. I want the now business. And as soon as I work with all the FSBOs, expireds, pre-foreclosures, the attorneys, that's the now business. I'm positioning myself for future business. So make sure we're always prospecting for now business, but don't lose sight of future business. The REO and distressed properties, Joe knows this better than anybody, that's a big market. We were averaging about 385 listings currently active in the MLS at one time. That's an undertaking. I can assure you there's a lot of moving parts in the REO space, and nobody better than our team can help you gain access to the post foreclosure space. So tune in. My goal is about lead generation. It's always about generating business and then listing mastery. That's super important because I primarily focus on getting more seller appointments. I take listings and those listings turn into future listings. Those listings bring me massive amount of buyers. Those listings give me a tremendous amount of relationships that get started with investors. And of course, agents are bringing their buyers to your open house. And it's a great way for you to actually grow your team. I certainly can't take a bunch of listings and do the open houses at the same time. We'll dive into that. As a certified success coach, national speaker, trainer, and podcast host, I bring world strategies, relentless passion, proven systems that help agents take massive action, build long-term wealth. So with that said, let's get started with the More Now Listings Mastermind. First thing up, I always start with this quote. Tell me, and I forget. Teach me, I may remember. Involve me, and I learn. So get out your notepad. Let's go old school. Let's get out your notepad and pen. Let's take screenshots. Let's record this. You do anything you want. I will obviously send you the recording, but let's make sure we're taking really copious notes because we got a lot of great stuff to share and a very, very special guest. 5 habits that are going to help you grow your real estate business starting today. These are the things you need to write down. Take a screenshot, write it down, and live by these 5 things every single day in your business. Number 1, lead generations, no exceptions. Lead generation is the most important part of growing your real estate business, period. Lead generation, whether you're proactively going after the FSBO expired pre-foreclosure or reactively responding to your database referrals and those types of social media marketing. We need to do both. We need to be proactive and reactive to have a well-balanced real estate diet. Block out 90 minutes each and every single day for focused no distractions, no ins and outs and all the, distractions. Because I tell you what, Mac knows this better than anybody. When you start prospecting, you're like, okay, I'm going to prospect at 3 o'clock. I'm going to get ready. I just played my song. I'm super fired up. I can't wait to go. Oh, wait a second. I'm going to go to the restroom real quick. Then I'll get prospecting. Or I'm going to go down and check the mail. Or I'm going to go run to the store. Or I'm going to do whatever it is other than prospect. That's called creative avoidance. Prospect 90 minutes every day, focused. Cut out the distractions and pay attention to what you're doing. And the reason why I like to do 90 minutes, guys, because you get the momentum. You're standing up, you're rocking and rolling, you're fired up, you're super excited. You're going to get a lot of no's. You need to keep that positive mental attitude going strong. So do this every single day. Number 2, track and measure your numbers. What gets measured gets improved. You need to track and measure your numbers. How many contacts? How many listing appointments? How many listings sold? What was you need to track it all, because if you don't track it, we can't fix it if there's something wrong. For instance, if you're making a bunch of calls and making no appointments, your messaging is wrong, your scripts are wrong. If you're getting a bunch of appointments but not getting the listing, your listing presentation needs a little tweaking. Does that make sense? Number 3, set appointments daily. A day without a seller or buy appointment, that's a red flag, guys. We need to have an appointment every single day. Buyer, seller, investor, agent. We are growing our business here. Number 4, follow up like a pro. 80% of conversions happen in follow up. So many people, and I track it. I'll follow a FSBO, for instance, and if they just didn't hear what I had to say or they didn't connect or whatever happened, and I follow, you need to stay on them until they list with somebody else. That expired, you need to follow up with them until they list with somebody else. So you need to have systems that you're following up like a pro. And number 5, sharpen your skills, guys. And you are on this call, so that's what you're certainly doing. Role play. Get with an accountability partner. Go over the scripts, go over objections, go over your goals, go over the beginning of your prospecting, and have an accountability partner that you can share at the end of your prospecting. Sharpen your skills, study your scripts, because your words matter. My mentor told me this a long time ago. Your words matter, and they certainly do when you're prospecting. FSBOs, expires. There's a different conversation that we're having with a FSBO than we are with an expired. FSBO just says, hey, I don't want to pay a commission, so I'm going to just do it myself, but I'm willing to pay a buyer agent. An expired just got out of a 6-month relationship and had their expectations shattered because they listed it too high most of the time. And we're going to talk about cash offers in a second here. So we're going to really dive in. So with that said, let me show you the tools that you need in your tool belt. You need to know who to call. Now, I personally use My Plus Leads because it's awesome. There's RedX, there's Land Voice, there's a bunch of them. However, I use My Plus Leads because it does everything I need it to for FSBOs, owners that are already trying to sell, expireds. Canceled and expireds are huge, guys. They already shown that they wanted to sell, but usually they didn't sell and didn't close because of price. We want to be able to how to tackle that. And of course, the pre-foreclosure market. Now, let me make one disclosure. I don't want anyone to lose their home. Never, ever, ever. However, there's a lot of folks out there. Track and measure the numbers in your market. Notice of default, notice of trustees, folks that are staring down the barrel of a foreclosure. It's our duty as licensed professionals to reach out to them, have a conversation with them. I do not give legal advice and I do not charge for my services, but I want to reach out to them, have a conversation. Most everybody I talk to in the default space want to keep their home. A large percentage of those folks may want to keep it, but that's not even an option. We want to make sure we're here for them. Nothing feels better, guys. Goosebumps. Than when you help somebody save their home from foreclosure. It's awesome. Done it many times. I've also received a bunch of people that it was too far gone. They couldn't get caught up. The forbearance, the loan mods, and all the things they tried didn't work out. And guess who they're calling? Me. I have had pre-foreclosure folks call me, and they have relatives in the business because I laid the foundation. Plus, it feels good. If you don't have a cash offers platform, guys, we're going to talk about that today in very detail. You need a cash offers platform. Joe's going to tell you why that's so important today. How many sellers, especially FSBOs and expireds, FSBOs in particular, oh, I want a cash offer. I don't want anything because they've seen an open door offer pad. They've seen the commercial. It's almost like offer pad, and those guys are like literally moving your furniture for you, and it makes it super easy. We get very competitive and oftentimes beat open door and offer pad. So we've got a platform that we're going to introduce you today that is awesome. So you need a cash offers platform. If you want to know about My Plus Leads or iList USA, the cash offer platform that is absolutely bulletproof, schedule a one-on-one appointment. Use that QR code right there if you want the tools to grow your business, guys. Okay, next things first. Let's talk about open house. If you take a listing, when you take a listing, you want to drive massive traffic to that open house. You must have an open house protocol. For example, Monday, week of the open house. How we do it is we market it for a week and no showings until the weekend. You need to obviously put it in the MLS and it goes out to your IDX feed. Everybody that works with you, the listing agent, your two buyer agents, and your lender, you need to create a Facebook event, each of you, so it's going out to your database, or share the same one, but all of you need to deploy your social media to the whole world. Verify and update Zillow, make sure it's proper. Get your lender. Richie's on this call. Richie can put together some of the most amazing marketing flyers at all. I mean, it's just amazing what he can put together for you. So Carla will drop Richie's information in the chat box. Here's a big thing that most agents forget. Listing agent, two buyer agents, and a lender. They don't pull the comparable sales. They don't see the actives in the area. They don't see the solds in the area. Be very fluent in the market as it relates to that home you're holding open. Then Wednesday, you need to door knock. I like inviting all the neighbors to a 10 to 12 VIP neighborhood open house, coffee, bagels, conversation, conversation with the sellers in the area. Super huge. Do a video of the property. Hi, this is Robert Weichelt. We're outside of 123 Main Street. I want to personally invite you to this open house. Boom. You need to do that. All of you, the listing agent, the buyer agents that are helping with the open house, and the lender. Okay. And then Friday, get the home ready to go. And don't forget to blast it on every single social media platform as possible. That is what we do. And this is the kind of traffic that we're getting. This is Kathy Ryan's listing up in Marietta. I average between 300 and 500 groups through the doors. Kathy had 884 people through her open house. Are you kidding me? Is anybody on this call or anybody listening to this ever seen anything like that? Jerry Stapp, another team member, over 1,200. Yeah, 1,200 people through the open houses using the strategies that we use. At the end of the day, guys, driving traffic to the open house is number one. Driving traffic first, and then you can get multiple offers. So more eyes equals more offers. I don't know about you, but I'm from San Diego. We have traffic. Marietta, traffic. Dallas, traffic. There's traffic. Every big city has way too much traffic for me. We're currently in Kentucky at our daughter's home in Richmond, Kentucky. Carla and I don't know if you know this, but we're traveling the United States in our RV. And a lot of people go, well, wait a second. You're traveling the United States in your RV. And by the way, we've been doing this since October of 2023. It's a long time. It's called Starlink, right? Laptop, Starlink, take me away. I go and take all my listings via Zoom. I've taken all my listings via Zoom since March of 2020. If you want an efficient and effective way to take more listings, I encourage you to at least do your buyer, seller, investor, agent consults via Zoom. It'll change your life. I guarantee it. I took 4 listings from the beach in Cabo. The only thing in that photo doesn't show is the Corona behind my do something great sign. I bring it everywhere with me. 4 listings on the beach. There's us in Hawaii. There's us at the desert. You get my point. Find an efficient and effective way to take more listings. And one thing I want to leave you with is we're adding tools to our tool belt. Remember, My Plus Leads, huge. Carla will drop the link in the chat so you can get My Plus Leads. I've got a promo code for you. iList USA, the cash offers platform. Drop the link in there for you should you want to check it out. I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. If you want to take more listings like what we're doing, schedule a time, because the online offers platform, I'm telling you what, is where it's revolutionary. It's going to be amazing. And I'm telling you what, speed, efficiency, and maximum profit are no longer negotiables for sellers. That's what they expect. That is the now. That's what's happening. So if you want to check out either My Plus Leads, iList cash offers, or the 14-day offer selling system, you reach out to me and we'll make it happen. So with that said, a couple more things, a couple more housekeeping items before we get to our speaker. I'm super excited. We've got a great group going on here. We've got a great topic today. So stick around. After the More Listings Mastermind, we do our accountability literally right after this call. We'll cover tracking and measuring, locating motivated sellers, using the right scripts because your words matter, remember, taking more listings via Zoom, and whole much more. So each week, morenowlistings.com. The More Listings Mastermind is 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. More Accountability Mastermind, which is right after, is 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Bring your wins to that call. If you're on this call and you want to stick around, I encourage you to do so. But with that said, if you guys want to take more listings, I want to give you the opportunity to schedule an appointment, a 30-minute strategy session with me. I want to sit down. I want to take a look under the hood. I want to find out what it is that you're doing. If you want more listings, I want to help you. So with that said, take a picture of that, schedule an appointment, and I look forward to meeting with you guys. Okay, that was me. I rambled. I did that real quick. I wanted to get it out of the way because it's so important. I want to talk about. But today, we've got a super special guest. I'm so excited. Joe Peterson from iList. We're going to talk about cash offers. Let me just set this up real quick. Our daughter, Carl and I's daughter, Brittany, she'll be 33 in December. Never sold real estate in her life. She's heard dad talk about real estate, but they don't really pay attention too much. I sat down with her and showed her the iList cash offers, and I showed her how to target the for sale by owners right here in Richmond, Kentucky. She got 2 listing appointments, guys. She's not licensed, number one, and she doesn't know anything about real estate. So people say, well, I don't know enough. I don't have a confidence. Talk about having no confidence. She doesn't know anything. I just said, this is the script. This is who you call. This is what the task is. Schedule the appointment. It's awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive in to the iList platform, and we're going to help you take more listings starting today. I'm going to stop my share, and I'm going to introduce our speaker right now. Stopping the share. Let's see. What do we got here? What are we looking at? We're looking at some good stuff. This is good. Okay, Joe Peterson, how are you doing, buddy?
Man, I am doing awesome. You got me a little nervous though. That's a big intro that you built up here. So I feel like we got to step up the game here.
Well, you know what? I'm doing that for the listeners. It's all about the listeners, buddy. So Joe Peterson, let's dive into it. Tell us who Joe Peterson is first.
Awesome. Well, man, so I kind of have a background like yours, Robert. I've been doing this since I was 19 also. Literally started my sophomore year in college, got pulled into real estate, I was actually, I thought I was a lot smarter than I was back in college, and I was wanting to go into orthodontics because those guys made a lot of money, didn't work much, right? That was my whole life goal at that time. Realized I was not near smart enough to enter into that world. And so took a real estate class, fell in love with it. I literally flipped my first house my sophomore year in college with my real estate professor. Got me hooked. And then I went through a couple different brokerages, Remax, because that's what everybody did back then, and I'll never forget, you mentioned REO. That's where I really cut my teeth for the first 15 years of my real estate career. And I'll never forget, at this point in time, probably a junior, maybe senior in college, still the new guy sitting in the back of the office. And Shirley Mastenbrook from Fannie Mae. I still think she's with Fannie Mae as of today. She called the Remax office we were at, and I'll never forget that phone went from desk to desk to desk to desk. Everybody saying no, 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 no. And then it lands on me. She asked, hey, we have an REO down the street. Do you want it? Absolutely. I love REO. I didn't even know what the word meant back then. Had no idea. But my gosh, you never say no to an opportunity. So I took it, learned what it was, and I ruined the first handful of REOs she gave me so bad. She personally drove out to the office, picked me up, and we went and did BPOs and inspections together. We did that for about 90 days. And anyway, so I like to say I got taught firsthand from asset managers. Anyway, took that, grew it into multiple markets, multiple states. At any point in time, we had three or 400 REO listings. It was an awesome, awesome business. But as you know, that business goes like this,
Certainly
right?
does. Certainly does.
And I made one mistake. I want everybody on this call to hear. I went, when I say I went all in the REO world, we went all in on the REO world. We were opening offices specifically for certain clients. We had at any given time 6 figures out the door in reimbursables. And I thought we were on a rocket ship, right? That world's never going to change. And then guess what? It just stops one day.
REO moratorium.
Man, so it's interesting, but we also learned a lot from that world. We learned scalability, we learned systems, we learned automations, and it really struck me. And this is why we kind of built the world that I'm about to show you. But it really struck me of like, well, wait a second. As we started looking at the traditional world to kind of even things out, it really amazed me at the lack of tools that traditional agents have compared to what we were using with defaults, hedge funds, and all these to analyze deals, make offers, all of that. And it was like you're going from 100 miles an hour, and then on the traditional world, you're going at the speed of a turtle. And it's like, why are these worlds not meshing here? And so that's when my eyes really opened up, and I go, there's got to be a way to bring these offers, this automation that we're used to in this high speed, fast paced environment into the traditional market. And so we took everything we learned from that world, we leveraged it, and we have I'm partial, of course, but we have one of the best seller focused platforms in real estate now. Automations, offers, marketing, lead gen, all of that built into one single platform, not multiple systems, not multiple logins, one. So that's a little background on myself.
You know what was funny is when you were talking about how this new client, this REO client, this they called it repo back in the day, when they were going around and they did the same thing to my mother back in the late 70s, early 80s. They went to all the top producers in the office and they all turned it down. There goes mom, 3 kids at home doing this just to get out of the house. Used to work at Home Fed, says, oh, yeah, just like you. Oh, I can do that. No problem. And guess what? She became the REO queen for many years, still doing this, works on our team, does our BPOs, and she's fantastic. Growing up in that family taught me a lot. So
Yeah.
we run
You
parallel.
look at real estate a completely different way. You know what I mean? Like it changes your perspective on how transactions are done, how speed, volume. It just changes your mindset on it. And so I think when agents get a little taste of that, it really starts opening up their horizons and what they can do. And you're not limited to a geographic location, right? These are concepts we're going to talk about here in a little bit that you can take East Coast to West Coast.
Amen.
What would that do for your business?
Amen,
So
brother. I tell you, it's super excited. And it's like, as you're talking, I'm going, oh my gosh. It's like, it was a while ago when the last REO market was here, but it was bananas.
it was, man. It was.
And the biggest takeaway I got from you is you went all in REO. If you do it the right way, you take a step back and have REO as a division,
Yes.
traditional listings as a business, and these are different businesses within your company.
Yep.
Never just go all in. I did the same thing, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
I mean, I went all in. Next thing I know, I was like, oh, there's no more listings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
You
was
got
like,
a
oh
lot of
well.
expenses with no listings. And you know what's funny is some of these really big name REO clients that we were out the door 6 figures with, when listings start coming in the door, they also don't like to pay their bills. And it's so, man, it's just like Robert said, like, man, that is a awesome world to be a part of for a lot of reasons. One, helping people and growth,
Mhm.
but make sure it's a division of what you do.
Yeah, not just all your
Take
eggs in
it
one basket.
from me.
Absolutely.
So,
So let's do this. Let's dive into it because I'm super
awesome.
excited to hear. I know you've got a lot of changes. Every time I talk to you, Joe, there's always something new you're working on. And I tell you what, guys, pay attention to this part right here. This is where I took my daughter, who has no real estate experience, gave her this particular link, showed her how to go in and talk to the for sale by owners, type in their address, and in seconds, you get offers. So, Joe, take it away. I can't wait to hear what you got going on.
Yeah, let's kind of set the stage here, right? Everybody on this call should be interested in the instant offer world. Like there is no and if or, but you should be interested in it. You should have access to it because it is one of the biggest conversation starter and hooks out there right now for sellers. When you look at where the market is, a little higher days on market, things are slowing down. This is the first world that starts growing in popularity because sellers hear these ads on the radio, TV, and they go, well, I should try that. I need to look at that. Hear me when I say this. Our goal is for you, the agent, to be the expert, the source of everything your clients need. And the only way to do that is having access to what your clients are looking for. Don't let them go to Mark Spain or Open Door OfferPad, right? That's literally bypassing you for something that you can easily be the source of. So let's start with that. The second mindset that I want you to start thinking about as we're about to enter an address, you're going to hear me say this word a lot, leverage. Our goal in our instant offer platform, believe it or not, is not to get offers accepted. That's kind of the secondary goal. The first goal, the primary goal of what we do is we want to give you the right type of data to leverage a listing conversation. If the offer fits everybody's needs, that's a win-win. If it does not and you leverage it into a listing, that's a win-win. That's what we're going to look at here. So we're going to take a address real fast. I'm just going to drop in one of my addresses. And we are taking the most basic piece of information, an address. Every single person on this call has access to an address. And if you're using tools like Robert mentioned, My Plus Leads, also one of my favorites, guess what you have a lot of? Addresses every single day.
Targeted addresses.
I typed in one address and look what I have access to as an agent. Of course, we have the property information, we have ownership, last sell date, mortgage, equity, everything. I can also come in and get all the property attributes, financial information. I even know who their lender is. Now, Robert, we could literally stop talking right now, and there is so much we could do with just this little nugget of information.
Yeah.
But that's not even the fun part here, right? Check this out. Our goal is to make you the expert in the instant offer, institutional offer world. And we do that in three different ways. One, speed. Notice we have categories of offers with multiple offers in each category, and that happened in under 5 seconds. It has to be fast because nobody, including your clients, your leads, your sellers, wants to wait for 2, 3, 4 days to get an offer on a property, right? They're coming to you, they're asking questions because they want it now. Instant gratification. We solve that. Next, we have to simplify this world. If you were to go out on your own and connect to 7 different institutional buyers, do you know how long it would take you to do what we just did in 5 seconds? You'd waste about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you would have 5 different conversations and 5 different systems with 5 different people. How can you organize that? How can you articulate that to a client, right? We simplify it. We bring everything from the largest buyers in the nation, Quick Buy, Zoodealio, Zoom Casa, Homeward, Up Equity. We bring all of those into a single platform for you. Now, the last thing is we have to make it so easy for you as an agent to understand that you feel like the expert. So, Robert, let's just say you were a novice in this world, right? You're far from it, but let's say you were a novice and you actually have no idea who Zoom Casa is. I'm just picking a random buyer here, right? And Danielle at Zoom Casa, by the way, one
She's
of my
awesome.
favorite
She's
buyers.
awesome. Awesome.
But let's just say you have no idea who Zoom Casa is, and you're looking at it going, what is this? Look how easy we've made this. If you just click view details, we tell you exactly who Zoom Casa is, how they operate as a company, and then we give you a breakdown of exactly how their offer is structured. On top of that, Now, Robert, I'm doing this in your account, so Danielle's probably going to call you in a little bit. So
And
just
she
heads
she
up.
she
But let's
literally she'll call me in like 2 seconds. So I know
She
for a fact.
will. Like
Yeah.
while we're on this demo, she should call you if she's in the office today. Robert, when she calls you, you should put her on speakerphone for everybody. That'd be funny. But so check this out. If Robert's got a seller that's interested in exploring this further, we also have to make it so incredibly easy for you as an agent to actually connect with that buyer. So watch what we do. We have an easy button. You click request final. We are literally taking this property right now and I just sent it directly to Danielle at Zoom Casa. We give Robert or you, the agent, the ability to book a call with them right now, and we tell you what's going to happen next. And by the way, this property is sitting in Zoom Casa's system with Robert's name tagged to it with all the details, just like that. Now, if we give it probably 15 minutes or so, I don't know if we'll be on this call that long, but Danielle is actually going to call Robert and say, hey, let's talk about that offer. How can we help you get a listing or get this offer done? So if you notice what we did simply by typing in address, we brought in multiple types of offers because there's different strategies behind instant offers. And we brought you different buyers within each category. If you're car shopping, if you're shoe shopping, clothes shopping, do you look at just one? No. Your goal as a consumer is to look at several, right? Because that's what's best for you. Why would you treat instant offers for your client any different? That's why we bring in the best of the best into one single platform for you. So speed, education, connectivity all happens instantly when you type in an address. Now, let's talk about that word that I said I was going to mention a lot here, leverage. Our goal, if you get one of these offers accepted, because these are great offers, the dual close strategy is one of my personal favorites because it truly gives your client very close to market value offers, way better than a traditional investor, right? Very, very strong offers here. But it's one of my favorite types of offers. So we want to make sure that you're educating your consumers on multiple types, buy now, sell later, and then you have multiple options within each one. When you have access to this much data that fast, man, you are on a different level already. So let's talk about leveraging this now. So let's just say, Robert, this is a seller that you're speaking with, right? A buy, owner, canceled, expired, pre-foreclosure, fill in the blank, does not matter. When Robert has these offers and he's wanting to present these offers to create a conversation with Joe here, here is one of the best leverage tactics there are. We're going to add an offer. And guess what? We're going to call this an open market. And just to show you, I'm going to change the name. We're going to call it open market MLS based offer. Now, Robert thinks on the open market, he can get 1.1 for this house because he's familiar with it, familiar with the area, etc. He can change his compensation, edit it. It's completely up to you, right? We don't recommend anything. We don't force anything. It is completely up to you to fill this out how you want. And watch, Robert's going to hit create offer. So just like that, we now have an open market MLS offer, right? MLS type, there's our offer, fees, net offer. And look at the net offer here. When your client, when your seller is looking through these instant offers you have, you know what number is going to grab their attention the most? The highest. And how is your client always going to make the most money? On the open market with you. Now, they're looking at instant offers for a variety of reasons, right? Radio, TV, online. Who knows how they heard about it? And they may truly believe in their mind that's the best thing for them. And here's national stats for you. 11% of the time, it is great for them. 11% of the time. 89% of the time, you know what clients do? They want to make the most money on their property. But it's really hard for us to tell a consumer, Robert, if I came to you saying, hey, Robert, I saw a billboard that says I can get, this cash offer. You know, it's really hard for Robert to tell me that's a bad idea because you can make more money this way. Now we have an argumentative relationship, right? You don't want that. You say, yeah, that's a great solution in this marketplace. I'm plugged in with the largest institutional buyers in the nation. Let me see what I can do for you. So, you know what you do? You bring them multiple offers, which takes you about 5 seconds. You add your version of a listing in here and you share it with them. I love doing this because I don't tell my clients I'm adding this. I let them visually see it and ask me a question because now it's their idea. And now we're having a conversation about the open market and how it's different. So it's all in how you present the offers. So now getting back to our example, Robert's got this client here, wants to see offers. He did a great job by adding an open market. We've got some single close, dual close offers in here. But Robert wants to hide this one, so let's turn it off. Robert wants to hide homeward at bottom. Maybe he wants to hide quick buy, and maybe he does not even want to show a buy now, sell later. Look, turn it off. So Robert now has controlled what his client gets to see. Now, when it comes to marketing and leverage, by the way, all of this information is already sitting in your CRM, including these share links already in your CRM, which makes it really easy to copy, paste, and share, right? So Robert's going to take this seller view link, open it up, and send it to me as a client. And look what I see, a simplified version of what Robert created. I can read the details, look at it, explore it, and everything that is happening. You know who's being notified real time? Robert, because our lead reports capture everything happening. So there are so many benefits here. Take an address, create offers, leverage that conversation. But in order to do this effectively, you actually have to have the offers that can get to a finish line, right? A closing table. That's why the offers and the partners that we work with are the best of the best. So now you've got this data at your fingertips. Add your open market strategy, whatever you want to call it, however you want that to display, you're in control over it. Now you have a property with actual multiple offers on it, including a on-market strategy, and you did all of this in less than a minute. Think of what you can do with this information.
I'm telling you, this is huge. This is a game changer. Like I mentioned earlier, Joe, and this is crazy. My daughter with zero experience, she was looking for homes in Kentucky. So she got used to using Zillow and
Yep.
Redfin. And she, was really become proficient in that. And I said, well, let's do this. Let's go give these cash offers. And she literally booked 2 appointments without knowing anything because it's so easy. You can run across any property. You can market it to sellers that want to sell, whether it be a FSBO expired, pre-foreclosure, anyone in your database. Like you mentioned, it's tied to your CRM. And it's just a really bitchin' way to at least get the conversation started. Because at the end of the day, I've never had a seller say, Robert, if you can get me the least amount of money for my home, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, if you can bring me no offers, I would really like that.
Yeah, that would be great. So what we do is we get them a cash offer. And like Joe said, 89% of them don't work for the seller. But the conversation gets started with the seller that says, Joe, don't bring me anything but a cash offer. I only want a cash offer. Great. They want a cash offer until they see, and
Yep,
oftentimes a cash offer, 89%. That's a big number.
it
You need
is.
to be able to start the conversation, get a seat at that table, and then transition to a better way. The open market's always a much better way. We obviously have tools that are proprietary to our team. So not everybody gets a chance and they need to reach out to me and I'll walk you through that. But that's the better way to get listings. I'm telling you what, you go to every single FSBO in your market in Zillow right now and call them up and say, I've got a cash offer. I guaranteed the conversation's going to be a little different.
Yeah.
It's going to
I'll
be
tell you
listen.
my favorite script right now that we see, we hear, we see the results from. Let's call a off market buy owner expired, does not matter. Say, hey Robert, hey, I was calling about 123 Main Street. Hey, is that for sale? I still for sale. I couldn't find anything online about it. Always throwing that little jab, right? And Robert's going to say, actually, yeah, it's still for sale. I said, awesome. I work with a group of institutional buyers. They actually brought this one up and wanted me to reach out to you. They're buying a couple in the area. This one came across their desk. Would it be okay with you if I saw how serious they were on your property? You see how simple that conversation is, and you see how we worded it with several different paths to an exit in that conversation. Robert's going to say, yeah, sounds good. Hang up the phone, type in the address. Don't call Robert back in 2 minutes. Wait an hour at least, right? Call him back and say, hey, Robert, met with the buyers. Good news. They actually sent me over 2 or 3 offers already. Hey, when's a good time we can review these offers? Conversation is set to leverage it to a listing. And that conversation, that script that I just shared, you can apply that to so many different categories of leads, your database, expired, canceled, buy owners, you name it. It is a great conversation starter. There's no smoke and mirrors because you do have offers. And once again, I'll say this over and over. If they like one of those offers, because there are very good benefits on these offers, you win. If they transition to a listing, you win, right?
Amen.
We want to create win-win situations for everybody. So that's how you can come in. And I'm talking the most basic of our functionality. Type in an address and look at the tools you have in front of you. Now, Robert, I know we're short on time, so
No,
I'm
take your time. Go ahead.
fly
This
through
is
this
huge.
one other topic right here because this is a really, really cool section. I gave you an example of how you can type in an address and go to sellers and start the conversation. But what if you wanted sellers in your database or just the social media, wherever, to actually come to you? So we have two awesome resources. We have landing pages and then we have database automation. We're going to look at these two really, really quick. Okay. So our landing pages, hear me when I say this, zero experience needed. Zero, right? We have some amazing templates. Notice these are all cash offer, home value oriented. So if we wanted to look at a cash offer template we have, look how clean and professional these are, right? They're absolutely awesome. But let's create a page. Okay, let's just have a little fun here. I'm going to grab that template and we're going to call this test, and let's turn the lead capture on. So Robert, we just created a landing page that quick, all on your own domain. Easy, right? But Robert, let's say you're in a market where you don't have ocean or canals or, beachfront homes. What if you live more on the hill country mountain? Well, let's change the video. And as you just noticed, we have a lot of different videos that you can choose from all different regions, all different styles. So you're able to create these awesome dynamic landing pages. We have a ton of templates in here. Now, when a homeowner goes to one of these landing pages, let's just type in an address. A homeowner, unlike other platforms, right? If I was on, you name the website or CRM right now, it would already be stopping me, asking me to register my social media, all that stuff, right? That creates massive bounce points. So look what we did. We actually gave the seller what they were looking for. Shocker, right? Here's your values. Here's the ability to engage, adjust the value of your home. And you know what we learned a long time ago? Every consumer who's interested in their value, you know what else they're interested in? Offers, always. And they'll fill out the information, you can capture it, et cetera, et cetera. And guess what? All information, all activity is captured here. Everything captured here. Guess where it also goes? Directly into your CRM. Now, last but not least, let's look at this example that I just did. I'm a seller. I found Robert's page on Facebook, typed in an address, looked around for a little while, said, oh, that's cool. And I left. Typical consumer behavior, right? Well, what if Robert wanted to reach out to me? He has no way of tracking me down or finding me until now because Robert can click just one little button that says trace. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to go find that person, deliver all of their information to you, age, emails, phones, and all of their secondary contacts. You know where all this information just went? Straight into your CRM.
Love
So it's not just you have to have the tools to deliver instant offers and be the expert, right? But you also have to have the ability to connect the dots from within your CRM, from within social media, etc. And so we bring all of that to the table, one platform, from marketing, automation within your CRM to landing pages. Everything we do is designed to be incredibly easy, incredibly fast, and leverage this information, create conversations.
That's awesome. You know what? I was taking some copious notes and I forgot sometimes that I was actually hosting a mastermind and I'm taking notes like an agent and I'm just doing all this stuff. And there's so many great things. Number one, it starts the conversation with a seller that thinks they want a cash offer until they see one. 89% don't go with it, but 11% do. You have accomplished what the 11% wants and will take. The 89%, you've started the conversation, you're at the table, you're showing a professional presentation, and you're saying, this is a cash offer. If they even ask, a lot of times, if they don't ask for cash offers, they just want to sell their home. I go right into selling their home for the highest and best price. And typically, a lot of people, the conversation comes up because it's becoming more and more popular. Cash offers. Everyone wants a cash offer. This is huge. So the other thing is you can customize, you can take away. I mean, you don't want to certainly don't want to give them 300 options. You want to give them 3, 4 powerful cash solutions while you're showing them the end user solution, because most 89% of them want a highest and best price. But you can customize this presentation and it's in live time. You do it on Zoom, show them this. You can get them the offer in moments and it's fantastic. You also, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, you have scripts available. So because agents like, well, I don't know what to say. We've got scripts. There's scripts in there that you can use and you don't recreate the wheel. Like I said, my daughter, who has no real estate experience, went to the scripts, went to the website, Zillow, and started calling people. And it was awesome.
Yeah. And even on, Robert, you said something, I don't want to skip over this. Even on traditional listings, right? Consumers that have no interest in this world, or we at least think they don't have any interest in this world. I still show them this because you know what that does? They know that we've done our homework. I have a backstop offer on your property if I cannot achieve this goal. Once again, it's something that no other agent is going to present to them. So even on a listing presentation, I always go in and say, hey, we start with this world, right? Because we want to make sure, like, here's our goal. Here's this world that we have. Let's see what we can maximize now.
And I
It's an
think, yeah,
awesome conversation. And then when we're working with expires, right? Or even if you're working, this is a fun audience, older listings, 100 days on market or higher, and you go to those agents and you say, hey, let's work together because I've got some buyers here. Those agents will most of the time say yes. You know why? Because their seller is getting some pressure on them. Like, why have you not delivered any offers? And Robert, if that price is high, like you mentioned, there's also another reason why you can talk about these offers is to say, look, here's what the top 5 largest institutional buyers are willing to pay. You're listed at 1.6 million. You think we might have a little bit of a gap to close here? Now, once again, it's not you being the bad guy talking about price. You have data that you can leverage. So once again, we could talk about different ways these offers can benefit you. But at the day, I'll say this over and over again, leverage, leverage, leverage.
amen. You know what? I love it. And I think the biggest thing is you show them the options and let the seller choose what works
Yep.
best for them. I like that. You take the bad guy thing out.
Yep.
It's absolutely fantastic. Now there's a question in the chat box, Joe. And we'll open up to Q&A here in a second. Would iList work for a vacant land or the sort? Look, can you see in the chat box?
Land is tricky, right? We use about 7 national APIs that power everything we do. So we're not tied to local MLS, right? So you're not isolated to a certain region. You can run properties East Coast, West Coast, North and South. But when it comes to vacant land, it's very, very tricky. But when you are talking about duplexes, really up to quads, it works well. When you start getting over that, man, so many different pricing variables come into it I don't know any system that is proficient in that other than you. So the sweet spot, single family homes, condos, duplexes, anything outside of that turns into the wild, wild west a little bit.
Amen. And you know what? That's great stuff. We've still got some more to cover. Another question is, Roy, yes, your question, can you add more than one open market? Yes, you can add multiple open markets. You can use the traditional old MLS way, the old fashioned way. You can, if you have an online offers platform, like many of us do, you can add the online offers platform. You absolutely can add all those options there, like Joe's showing you right now. A bidding platform,
Just making something
absolutely.
random up, right? And
Yeah.
I didn't change anything else, but you can show them now, like once again, create multiple market strategies to compare. And now it's the conversation is like, what fits your needs the best?
Amen to that. This is a, and remember, this is an investor buy box. So if it's a unique, weird property that like one person in the world wants, more than likely the cash investor won't want it either. This
Yeah.
is, like Joe said, single family condos, those types of things, which are perfect for our online offers platform, which is perfect for just any kind of open house traffic. So it's fantastic. Carla put a chat box in the chat box. She put a link that you guys could go there, check it out, take a test drive, take a 14-day test drive, check it out. It's a game changer.
Yeah.
And so, Joe, man, I tell you, is there anything else you'd like to say to these nice folks
Oh
before
my
we?
gosh,
There's
I
one
could
more
go on for
question.
another hour, but to be nice to these nice folks, I am not.
So
But
let's open
it
up
is one
the
of the
Q&A.
most
Yeah,
powerful tools you can have, right? Like your consumers are out in the real world. They have TV, they have radio, they're on the internet. They know what instant offers are. Don't let them go around you to explore them. Be the source, which is going to make you the expert.
amen to that. Are there any Q&A questions? We'd like to open up the mic for Joe. We certainly have just a couple of more minutes. We're running late. I do have Richie that wants to come
Harry,
in. Go
Harry
ahead.
had one question that said, is iList available for all states?
All
Yes. East
states,
Coast to
yes.
West Coast. Yep.
Excellent.
Everywhere but Canada. We are working on Canada. We've got a lot of requests for that, but not yet. But anywhere else, yes.
So
We even
that's
have
perfect.
users down in Hawaii doing it. Now that does create some difficulties down there. So we'll just say if it's a connected state, we're pretty covered.
Amen. Well, you know what? Great questions, guys. We'll definitely have Joe on again. We really appreciate your time, my friend. That was absolutely powerful. It was an hour of packed awesome.
There's still a couple more.
Okay, let's
And I
let's
think
see.
Mike's got his
Oh,
hand up. He's either
Hey,
giving me a high five or he's
thanks
got
for
a hand up.
sharing
So
today. Yeah. Thanks, man. Robert, thanks again for putting this together. Hey, Joe, I had just a couple quick questions. When you say like to the FISBO, hey, I didn't see you online. If they say, well, where did you see me? What would you say?
I drove past your house, got your number, saw a sign up front. Can't find any details.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Or
Just
I found you on you know, fsbo.com, which has very limited information,
okay.
right?
I like the idea of saying that. It's kind of a brain freeze. Whoa, you didn't see me online.
Yeah, it kind of makes them just stumble a little bit,
Yeah.
right? And
Okay.
my whole goal in saying that is they're like, what do you mean you didn't see me online? It's like it opens
Right.
up the conversation about
Exactly. Got you.
market exposure. So
Beautiful. The
I
other
think I
ask
think the
I have
biggest
is
thing, Mike, I think the biggest thing is you need to be quick on your feet and have a little bit of, you need to understand what the scripts are, what your ultimate goal is. If they want to sell their home, whether you've seen it online or you drove by it, the number one goal is to set the appointment so we can
I
get more
got you.
information about their home.
Yeah. Well, quick on my feet is like walking in sand, sand, quicksand.
Well,
Hey,
cool. You know what?
the other question I had though is I'm looking to improve my marketing, and I love the idea of the landing pages. I'd like
Yeah,
more information on that. I'm literally working on a marketing piece right now. I wanted to talk to you, Robert, about this after a all cash offer in 72 hours. I would love to direct them to a landing page or something to capture their information.
we got it
yeah,
all
so
for you
that's
right there.
Plan on that?
exactly what we have. The only thing I'll tell you is probably take the 72 hours off because if I want to get offers, I could get them a lot faster than 72 hours.
3 to 5 seconds.
And if you put something like that, cash offers instead of 72 hours, is like 5 to 7 minutes, right? Something like that. It
Yeah,
just
even
makes them
better.
go, whoa, wait a second.
And we'll
You
go
know,
over marketing next call.
Yeah, that
I want
sounds
to
great, Joe.
respect everyone's time. Mike, thank you for the questions.
Yes, sir.
Everybody, thank you so much for the questions. Joe Peterson, iList, Cash Offers, thank you so much for your time. Before we let you go, I always like to leave with Richie Sorensen, my personal lender. He's amazing. He's done my daughter's loan, my son's loan. He does my clients' loans. He's the guy I go to. I love to have Richie get up and share the mortgage minute. What's going on in the market, Richie Sorensen?
Robert, what's up? I'll keep this very speedy here. Okay. So today, Jerome Powell and the Fed spoke. Okay. They projected 2 rate cuts later this year, but he was very clear it depends on upcoming inflation data. So he warned that tariffs could drive prices higher this summer. So nothing's really changed. The markets are staying flat. The message is clear. Don't expect cuts until inflation really cools off. There was also a headline making waves right now from Redfin. They claim there are 500,000 more sellers than buyers right now. Okay, this has the general public freaking out about a housing bubble. And here's where we have a responsibility to get this news out there. Those numbers don't add up. Okay, Redfin claims there's 2 million active sellers. Realtor.com, which pulls from the MLS, reports 959,000 listing. That's just a million fewer. So there's the National Association of Realtors also supports that figure. And all of their buyer estimates are pure guesswork. So the reality is housing supply remains tight, and the top economists still project 3.4 appreciation through the rest of 2025. So if you want a real appreciation data for your zip code, just shoot me a message and I'll provide that.
Awesome. Richie, you are an absolute gem. Appreciate you jumping on. I appreciate everybody jumping on to the More Now Listings Mastermind. The More Listings Mastermind is the place to come for awesome tools like we just heard from Joe Peterson, where you come to hear mortgage updates. You want to come to learn, build, and grow your real estate business and take more listings. This is the place to be. The More Now Listings.com every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. This is Robert Weichelt, your host. I appreciate you all being on. I'm going to stop the recording, but we're going to have a quiet conversation as soon as we're done with that. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Have a great day. Okay, we're on to the More Accountability Mastermind portion of it. My name is Robert Weichelt. I'm your host. We're going to dive into the tracking and measuring, the accountability of prospecting. Prospecting, if done every single day, will change your life. If you don't prospect, you don't grow. You can certainly have reactive real estate and have a bunch of ads running on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever. But I think it's important to sprinkle in some reaching out to folks. Real estate is a contact sport. We have our More Listings Mastermind each Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. The More Accountability Masterminds directly after that. So thank you guys for being on. What I want to do is I'm going to go into some of the things. I don't want to bore you with a little bit about me, but I want to just kind of tell you that I specialize in FSBOs, expireds, and pre-foreclosure. I'm also a very, very skilled default specialist. I was working in the early 90s for the REO space. It reared its ugly head again in the early 2000s. I coach, train, and mentor agents all over the country. A matter of fact, I do a lot of the corporate training for my company. And I'm having I don't want anyone to lose their homes. Let's just be clear about that. But it's a great business to be in. A corporate seller needs assistance as well. These are the 5 habits we went over it on our last call, but lead generation, guys, is the number one thing. If you don't lead generate, you're not prospecting, you're not working. You need to block out 90 minutes each day for focused prospecting. Get it out, get every distraction out of there. It's hard enough to get that momentum to get up. That's why I like to start with a big pump up song, whatever it takes by the Imagine Dragons. And then I get to prospecting because Carta, when she hears the Imagine Dragons come on, she knows it's game time, right? So lead generate, block 90 minutes, block 90 minutes on your calendar. Do that now. Go to your calendar, or at least wait to the call. But my point is, go to your calendar and put 90 minutes per day for your prospecting, focused prospecting. Number two, track and measure your numbers. We're going to dive into the tracking and measure, how important that is in a second. What gets measured gets improved, guys. If you're not tracking and measuring, it's like that check engine light comes on. You don't just, it just says check engine light. Oftentimes it doesn't tell you what's specifically wrong. When you plug it into the mechanic, they'll tell you exactly what that check engine light is referring to. So that's what you need to do with tracking and measuring. Number three, you got to set appointments daily. If you're not setting appointments daily, you're not working. You need to schedule a seller or buyer appointment each and every day, or it's a red flag in your business. You got to follow up like a pro, and you got to sharpen your skills. So with that said, let's talk about goals and actuals. You got to ask yourself this question: how many days are you going to work? What I mean by working, that 90-minute calendar that says prospecting, sellers, investors, buyers, agents, whatever you're looking to increase. I want more sellers, because when you get more sellers bring more sellers. More sellers bring more buyers. More sellers bring more investors, and more sellers certainly bring more agent opportunities if you're growing your team. How many days are you going to work? How many days are you going to commit to growing your business? Write it down, put it in the chat box. Make sure you commit to that. If you're going to work 5 days, work 5 days. If you don't work 5 days, when you fill out your actuals, you can either do it on a piece of paper like what I do. I'm old school. I'm just being straight up with you. I take it. Look, here's where I track and measure my numbers. It's right here. It's on a piece of paper. You may not be able to see it, but it's on a piece of paper. You can't see it. You get my point. It doesn't matter how you do it, but do it. Track and measure. This is just a simple piece of paper that says how many days I'm going to work. That's the goal. How many days did I work is the actual. So put in the chat box, how many days are you going to work? How many days are you going to commit to working? Total hours prospecting. You're going to work 5 days. How many hours are you going to prospect? I'm going to prospect 2 hours a day or 90 minutes a day, whatever it is. I do 2 hours because I like the momentum. And I find that sometimes once I get that momentum, I can't stop. You don't want to stop. You want to keep going until they just say it's too late and I can't call anymore. My point is, you want to carve out at least 90 minutes a day. How many hours are you going to prospect? How many seller contacts do you want to make in that 10 hours? I want to make at least 50 seller contacts. That's somebody that says, yeah, hi, my name is Robert. I'm calling about your home at 123 Main Street. Is it still available? Yes, it is. Great. If I brought you an offer, the price was acceptable. The conversation, let's schedule an appointment. You know what? I'm really not scheduling an appointment. I've already got an agent I'm going to work with. I'm going to stick with them. No problem. That happens. That's a contact. When somebody says, you know what, I'd be willing to meet with you, that's a lead. A lead is somebody who says, yes, Oscar, I will certainly set up a Zoom call with you and hear what you have to say. Doesn't mean you're getting the listing. That means you're getting the appointment. That's the step in the right direction. Of those leads generated, total listing presentations, that means how many times are you going to get in front of a seller? My goal is to do 2 a week. I want to get 2 listing appointments a week. Minimum. That's my minimum standard. If you prospect every single day with a certain goal in mind, make it your point to get a listing every single day. Get an appointment in this case, do 2 a week. And you may run across a seller, and Mac, you know this, we've met with some sellers that were out of their mind. That one guy, I forget the street name, I've already erased him from my brain, but he was a nightmare.
He was in Wildemar.
Wildemar. That was what a great property, by the way. And we hooked him up.
We got him more than he asked for, and he was still causing problems.
He was a unique seller. My point is, I've been on listing appointments that I didn't take for one reason or another. Maybe they're too ambitious with their sales price goals. I don't take overpriced listings, just so we're clear. If somebody wants to work with me, they need to understand that we need to come to an agreement on price. My listing presentation, all done via Zoom, is 3 to 5 minutes. And it's all about price. Because if we can't get past price, it doesn't matter what else we can do. Price is key. If somebody wants to list their home for $1 million and it's worth 800, problem. I'm going to show them why it's not worth $1 million, and I'm going to let the data speak for itself. If they still are digging their heels in, here's what they say oftentimes. Well, I want $1 million. I know it's not worth that, but if I get $1 million, then I'll sell. Let's cut out the nonsense. Let's not have a conversation any further because we're not a realistic seller. We're only looking for realistic, motivated, not desperate. Motivated means realistic sellers. Somebody that's willing to understand what our marketing strategy is all about, driving massive traffic to the open house, massive amount of offers for them to choose from, whether it be cash offers or multiple buyers wanting to place their offer on our platform. It's the only way to go. So you take 2 listing presentations, you may only take 1 listing. That's okay. How many listings do you want to take per week? How many listings do you want to take per month? How do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. You want to do 52 listings, that's 1 a week. Well, how are you going to get there? You need 1 listing a week, because the reason why we do these calls on Wednesdays is because people have all good intentions of starting to prospect on Monday. Come Wednesday, they're like, oh, I got an accountability call. I need to be accountable. So they pick up the phone an hour or 2 before the meeting and say, I've made this many calls. It's a midweek tweak. The reason why I do it on Wednesday, so it basically says, oh man, you know what? The first 2.5 days of this week, I didn't really do much in terms of prospecting. I've still got another 2.5 days to write the shit. That's why I like to do them on Wednesdays. So make sure you're being true to yourself. Make your goals. I mean, obviously push yourself a little bit. Push yourself. Put 20 hours of prospect. It's not realistic. Some people, that's all they do is prospect, and that God bless them. But be realistic, but also push yourself at the same time. So track your measures. So who's working 5 days? Put in the chat box. Who's prospecting at least 10 hours a week? Put in the chat box. Seller contact goal 50. You get my point. Make a commitment to yourself. Show up on these calls every Wednesday and share your numbers. Now, I go old school. Listen, I'm just very clear with that. I go old school, but I know that there's a new platform out, and I'm going to share it with you right now. It's called Sisu. Sisu. Is that how you say it? Sisu. Anyway, I just got introduced to it literally yesterday. It's awesome. I'm just setting it up, so we don't have any historical data to share with you because I'm still learning the program. Like I said, I'm old school. I use paper and pen. This right here is for you techies that want to get all computerized, and it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. That's what we're going to do. But you can track your listing appointments set, listing appointments met, because when you set an appointment, that doesn't necessarily mean you're meeting with them, that appointment. They sometimes don't show up. Listings signed is when you get the contract. That's the real listing. Listings under contract after the open house, the offers are in, you get the signed contract, and then listings closed. You can be as simple as tracking that on either listings or buyers. If you're working buyers, track and measure your buyers. If you're prospecting for buyers, because that's what you like to do, I do find that most buyer agents aspire to be listing agents, but they just don't know how to do it. I personally see a lot of hybrid agents that say, I'm licensed, I can work with buyers, sellers, I don't discriminate. Now I'm cool with that. I personally focus my prospecting efforts all on listings. FSBO expired, pre-foreclosure, attorneys. Attorneys are big, by the way. Attorneys are big. Senior market, you need to go after the lowest hanging fruit, and don't forget about your database. Reach out to your database on a regular basis. It's super important. So you can use Sisu. It's fantastic. Here's another accountability portion of it. You can see that you're tracking your conversations in live time. After every day of prospecting, you go out there and actually type in how many prospects calls you made for that day. That'll automatically calculate it through here. How many appointments set, how many appointments met, buyers, sellers, the whole thing. It's super, super cool. What I went through on a demo, I watched it, and it's pretty slick. So I encourage you to check it out. You can see a link here. If you're with EXP, you've more than likely already received this email. If you have not, go into your EXP enterprise. If you're not with EXP and you want to see what this platform is about, just shoot me you'll have a chance to schedule an appointment. I'll be more than happy to walk you through it. So tracking and measuring, whether you're doing it little check marks on a piece of paper, or you're actually getting digitized and it's going into your CRM. Either way, start tracking and measuring your numbers. So don't just survive in real estate. That's the key. You want to thrive, and you'll be able to do that by tracking and measuring, prospecting every single day for at least 90 minutes. Keep track of your numbers, and here we go. So with that said, that's what I had. I certainly encourage you, if you like to book a 30-minute strategy session, Mac, anyone on the call, book a strategy session. Anyone listening to the YouTube or the podcast, I encourage you to reach out to me. Let's take a look under the hood and let's see what's going on. With that said, I'm going to finish up the recording, and then we can do some private Q&A. Thanks for jumping on not only the More Now listings, but the accountability session of this as well. Thanks for tuning in. This is Robert Weichelt, and you have a great day. Cool. Questions, guys? I want to get that for some content, so I appreciate that. Any questions, Mac? I know looks like you're at the beach still, huh? I love it. You're muted, dude. There you go.
There you go.
Go ahead, Steven. Mac, what's up?
Yeah. I'm not at the beach. That's just a background.
I know. I have the same one.
Yeah. Doing well. Doing my prospecting, my plus leads, calling every morning. I do about an hour, and I'm steady about it. And I'm tracking everything. I use a spreadsheet, put the date and what I'm calling. Am I calling expireds? Am I calling FSBOs? Or am I calling, I have cash offer buyers offered through Zoodealio. I've got 250 leads I'm following up on right now. So
nice.
Keeping busy.
No, I love it.
Productive busy, not just busy.
Amen, brother. That's the only kind of busy I like.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's so good to see you. I know Carla is all excited to see you on the call.
I'm glad to hear she's there. That's great.
Yeah. She's I think she's bounced since then, but yeah, she helps me run
I'm here.
Oh, you're still
I'm
there?
listening.
Hey,
Hi, dear.
Carla.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hi, Mac.
Cool.
Hey, Carla.
So
Hi from
any other
Kentucky.
What's that?
I'm
honey?
sorry?
I said hi from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We're
need to buy another house in Kentucky.
Yeah, we're actually looking at real estate right now, and there's one that we're going to, I think tomorrow, to see the open house. They just renovated it. We're going to check it out. But what we're going to do with our daughter is she's reaching out to all the FSBOs in all of Lexington and surrounding areas, and we're reaching out to those homeowners and providing them with cash offers. But it's also, we're looking to buy fix and flip, so it's getting us out there. Worst case, if it's not something that works for us, let's put a cash offer in and let's get it going. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
I sent a simple email yesterday to a FSBO. It just said, "Are you interested in a full price cash offer for your home? Contact me at this number." And I've been talking to him now for 2 days.
Imagine that. It works if you do.
Yeah, it was just a simple email, and went out, and I got a call back right away.
Amen, dude. I love it. I love it. So yeah, we'll definitely anything.
I have a question, Robert. On the My Plus leads, I noticed that this morning I had 31 new contacts. This morning at 7:30, new contacts for FSBO and expired data. Now it's 2:37, and there's 37 leads. So
because the notice of defaults come in later in the afternoon.
Okay.
The pre-foreclosures, NOD and NOT, usually don't come in until the afternoon. So the first, when you first go in, it has FSBOs, expireds, and canceled, and then adds NODs. And sometimes you'll get expired listings come in the afternoon. So there's 2 polls each day.
Well, all I'm paying for right now is FSBOs and expired data, not NODs.
Okay. So what happens a lot of times if a listing expires in the afternoon, that they'll update it. I find that they do 2 polls. They do morning polls and then afternoon polls. You'll see the numbers oftentimes are increased in the afternoon.
Do you think that a lot of the sellers don't know that their contracts expired with their agent?
I highly doubt it, but that's certainly a possibility.
Because obviously, when I reach out, they say I already have an agent. So
good. So you're under contract with an agent for how long?
For how long?
Yeah, I'm showing that your home's expired. Did you re-list with the same agent?
Okay. Let's see.
Make sense?
Yeah. And actually yesterday I had a lead respond back to my text, and I texted this lead on the weekend, and she said, what did she say? What you were she was saying she's looking for a cash offer. And so I got on the phone with her and I said, well, we have cash offers, but if you want to get the most for your house, we should set up a Zoom call,
What I would do, can I stop you there?
And then she
What I would do is
appointment.
is this expired you're calling?
Yes, it's an expired.
An expired. So you get nowhere in those scripts that I've shared with you does it say I have a cash offer for you.
Actually,
bottom line, is your home available? Yes or no?
I don't even know if it's
Are you listening?
I don't even know if it was a for sale by owner. Or...
Okay, it doesn't matter. If our number one goal, whether we're calling FSBO's expireds, pre-foreclosure, the neighbor down the street, doesn't matter. Is their home still available? Is a very simple question. It's a yes or no question. It is great. If I was to bring you an offer, the price was acceptable. Are you willing to compensate X? You are, you're not, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're willing to or not. Great. When can we schedule a quick Zoom call to go over your property in more detail? That's it. Schedule the appointment. Then when we're on the appointment, then we go into detail about cash offers and online offers and better ways. And this, we only are prospecting to schedule the appointment.
Yeah, if it was that easy, but it's not.
It is that easy. It really is. It just takes time. You got to get good at it. Is your home available? It is. Great. If I was to bring you an offer, the price was acceptable. Are you willing to compensate? You are, you're not, doesn't matter. Great. When can we schedule a quick Zoom call so we can go over your home in more detail? Meaning, I can't provide you with the multiple offers that I'd like to without knowing more about your home. So if you give me 3 to 5 minutes on a quick Zoom call, then we can go over your home in more detail. Then I can connect you with the right buyers. But not until we meet and go over your home. I'm not just going to send you blind offers because that's not how I operate.
I see. So if she's one of those, like you were saying earlier, that no, I don't want to go on appointment. I don't want to talk to an agent. If you have an offer, send it to me.
So you don't want to tell me everything about your home so I can present you with the right offer? That's called a blow off. When you walk into a store and someone says, "Hi, Oscar, how can I help you?" I'm just looking. Thank you. That's your instant reaction. Even though you know for a fact you're looking for something very specific. That's what sellers do. Remember, you're one of 300 getting called from. They're getting called, right?
Okay.
Is it available? Are they compensating? When can we schedule a quick Zoom call to go over your home? Then they qualify to answer all those questions. They don't want to meet with you. They're not motivated. They're not realistic. Just send me an offer. Well, that's ridiculous. How am I going to send you an offer if I don't know anything about your home? Or I don't know enough about your home anyway. They don't talk about any. They don't.
It's online.
Oh, so does it say anything negative about the home in line? Never, not once. Have you had a home inspection before? I don't see that online. Do you plan on doing a seller carryback? Are you doing seller financing? Do you have a termite report?
Yes.
The health and safety issue.
You have an inspection report. No, we're not doing a seller carryback. Answering the questions right there and then on the phone or on text.
Are you looking for a 30 or 60-day escrow?
30
These are the questions that I have. That's why we need to meet. If they don't want to meet and they want to play games, I move on. Because I'm weeding out the nightmare sellers, right, Mac? We're weeding out the nightmares by those questions we ask.
I highly recommend it that you weed out the bad ones.
Weed out the nightmares. Why would
fire those clients? Don't work with them. They're not worth. You can do 2 or 3 other transactions in the time you're wasting on those people.
Yep. So if they give you too much grief, Oscar, moving on. Right, Mike?
The good news is at least you're talking with them.
Yep.
I haven't even been able to really have a conversation like you are. And I'm still excited that I did my prospecting for 90 minutes, even though I didn't even talk to nobody.
That's all.
I mean, I talked to a couple, and I saw some people on my prospecting list that because I'm doing the geo farming. But congratulations to you, Oscar. Like I said, at least you're connecting with people and having that conversation. It's always about setting the appointment as quickly as possible. It's kind of like going on a date, you just got to set the date and then just make it happen.
Yep.
You can get to
Amen.
know someone on a text or a phone or email.
Yep. It's all about
Face-to-face.
the confidence that you
To
get.
Zoom.
Yep. It's the confidence you get. It's the momentum you get. And you can call 100 people and have no answers. It's a numbers game. You need to
Yeah.
look at your numbers, find out. Then what you can do, if you made 100 contacts and no one wants to meet with you, it might be your scripting and your tonality or whatever you're doing. And if
Yeah.
you do get a lot of appointments, but you don't close them, it might be your presentation. I can assure you, you get them on a Zoom call with me, you're hitting a home run just about every time.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Oscar, focus on getting Robert on the line with you. Hey, I'm working with it. Like I call that peak and pass, where you pique their interest and pass it to you edify your mentor, your upline or whatever, and then you pass it along to them and let the upline do the heavy lifting.
And the key is your partner. Let me get you on a Zoom
Yeah.
call with my partner. If you
Yeah.
say my boss, my coach, my mentor, they'll think, oh God, here you go. You're bringing in the
No.
closer.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to get my
Office for
partner.
closers.
That's why it's important that we get on the Zoom call so I can bring
Yes.
my partner into the fold.
Explain this to you coming from a position of I'm trying to help you.
Yep. And you certainly are.
Yes.
Oscar, thank you for the question, man. That's great. Mike, thank you for chiming in. Steven, Mac, man, I'm telling you.
I love the interaction. It's so kind of healthy for a Zoom meeting that there's interaction like this. Usually you don't have that. But yeah, like I said, I'm excited. I got my dialer figured out and I made my calls yesterday and I wanted to share that with you, Robert, that
Yes.
it took a while to get there, but it's like, dang, in fact, my buddy was tempting me, "Hey, let's go to happy hour. I'll buy you a burger."
Well,
So
Mike, what do you do? Mike, what do
I'm
you
done
do
at
when
6 o'clock.
80% of the list you get that morning is do not call? You still call them?
No,
Or you
on my
don't-
dialer, I don't call it do not calls.
you
I still
text.
text them.
I can tell you this, the FISBOs,
That's
if the FISBOs, Oscar, if the FISBOs are do not call and they're on Zillow, I call them anyway because they're asking for you to call. It says, please call
Yeah,
this number.
FISBOs is
The
different.
do not call list doesn't count with FISBOs.
On my list for my plus leads, 85% is expireds and canceled. I get maybe like one or two FISBOs.
Yeah, there's not a lot of FISBOs. Have you gone into after my plus leads? Have you gone into Zillow and pulled up all the FISBOs in your market? Have you ever
No.
reached out to them? Go to
Not the ones
Zillow.
on Zillow.
Watch, I'm going to share my screen. This is key. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Hold on a second. Here's my plus leads. I got that on the screen, but I'm going to show you. Can you guys see the screen? Yeah, you can. I'm going to show you Zillow. It's awesome, dude. This is what my daughter did. This is what everybody should do. Here's Zillow, right? See where it says buy? Go to for sale by owner right here. Click that. And we went into Richmond, Kentucky, and we've got 4 results. That's so much better than 3 results, right? So here you just go in here, click on it, and you still see the screen over here. Am I sharing my screen still? Yep, I am. Okay, cool. So here's the information. Here's the for sale by owner. Here's their information right here. They're telling the world, call me. Been on the market 4 days. So I would call them. I would go to Zillow every single day and find out and see if there's any others. If you've not received a meeting request with this person, call them until you do. Hey, it's Oscar. I see that your home's still on the market. I'd love to get a little bit more information about your home so we can provide you with multiple offers. To your point, I don't like to say multiple cash offers because if they don't specifically ask for a cash offer, you will most certainly turn them off if they're a traditional seller wanting the highest and best price. Reach out to these every single day. Then when you're done with that, because you're in San Diego, go to Riverside. Go up there with Mac, hang out with him, take listings and compete.
Absolutely.
Go into San Bernardino, go into LA, go into Orange County, go all over. But I'm telling you, there's plenty in San Diego County to call. I'm telling you, here's San Diego County for sale by owners. There's 28 FSBOs. Now, not all do you want. You like this one right here might be a little bit different. This might be a challenge. This thing's a motorhome. I would skip this one. But you want to go through and pull up every single for sale by owner that meets the parameters. I like single family and condos. I don't do mobile homes. But look at this. There's 1.9. There's a 5.9. This is a nice one. I like this one. So I'm going to buy something like this in San Diego when I go there. So anyway, I'm doing this for myself now. I'm going to save this for me. But you see what I'm saying? All you do is go into buy and for sale by owner, and there's plenty. And if they don't get back to you today, call them tomorrow. Make it the first thing you do before you start prospecting the new numbers. Follow up the old folks. Hey, I never heard back from you on your properties. It's still available. That's all. It takes some time.
Yeah, I just added a new list right now. That's what happened right now.
Cool.
And the CRM is good for setting up a task.
Oh, these are huge, dude. These are huge. So any other questions on anything? I'm here to help. I'm ready to go. What do you got? We've answered all the questions. Cool.
Hey, Robert, I wanted to know more about the landing pages. I do have a new listing.
iList?
Yeah. I'd like to learn more about the some of the marketing that we could plug into.
Yeah, I put together in the chat the iList info. Did you get it?
You did?
Yeah, I put it in there. Carta put it in there, and I put it in there too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's what I would like to learn, just a little bit better on marketing.
Oh yeah, no, they do it all for you. They take out all the heavy lifting, dude. It's cool.
And then, of course, I like the instant offers, so I'll change that from 72 hours to just receive an all cash offer.
Yeah, I try not to get specific like that. I tell them, bottom line, you got to remember, there's going to be 11% of the people want a cash offer. 89% of the people do not. I don't lead with cash offers, but when you're using the landing page, you can go into My Plus Leads, for example. You get all their emails. You got all the information you need. Look at this. Look at this. There's I'll pull it up. Can you guys still see my screen? You can. Here's the look. Here's today's batch. All of them right here. Here's all today's batch. See these right here? I'll email them a screenshot or a landing page and send this to all of them, and individually email them to all of them. Now this is an absentee owner, so it's a different conversation. But look at this. This right here, 470 is what it was listed at, or what it's worth, and 470 is what it's listed at. So this is not an overpriced listing, in my opinion. Right. There's some other reason why they're not selling.
Yes.
So go find out. Hey, I noticed you're on the market for a while, but why'd you get off the market? Just have a normal conversation. Yeah, if you don't use the scripts, just have a conversation with people.
Yes.
Send them the and Oscar, you have the cash offers platform. Here's their emails. Send them each individually an email. Use the script. Send them an email saying, if you like an immediate cash offer, boom, here you go. Use that as the last ditch effort. But again, I like to call, then I'll leave a voicemail, then I'll text, and then I'll shoot them a quick email. And then I'll do that the next day. Make sense? Cool. Any other questions, guys? Mike, did you get the iList link for the cash offers platform?
I was looking in the chat. I didn't actually.
I just put it in again just now.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, so there it is right there. Just go there, check it out.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to register. Okay, got you.
Yeah, just go to the platform, check it out. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've been there before.
And Mac, what it does, iList, is it includes Zoodelio, Zoom Casa, Homeward, and a multitude of others. So it's something you might want to check out when you get a minute. Do the 14-day free trial.
What does it cost? It's
like $99 a month, I think.
That's that's inexpensive for what they're offering.
With the landing pages by itself, I would pay.
It's a very inexpensive platform.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. So yeah, check it out. But bottom line, let's keep it simple. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's prospect, And that's the way it is. That's how we build business. Have conversations. The one with the most conversations wins. Cool.
Yes.
You guys are awesome. I got a jam. I really, really, really appreciate you guys being on. Anything I can do to help. This is the place we come to do the training, do the coaching, do the mentoring. All this stuff happens right here. Okay, guys. Mac, always a pleasure, my friend. Oscar, Mike, thank you for being
Thanks,
on.
Robert.
And I appreciate you guys so much. And we'll talk again soon.
Thanks for putting it together.
You got it, brother. See you, man.
See you, man.